G'day, I'm Cahn, and in this video I'm comparing a 12 volt DC air fryer to a 240 volt AC air fryer. And I know it sounds crazy that this exists, but with the popularity of air fryers at home now, of course it was gonna spread to camping. And the fact that you can get affordable lithium batteries and affordable pure sine wave inverters means that both of these are probably viable options. So if you want to use an air fryer at camp, let's dig into which one of these is actually going to suit you better. And yes, campfires are always going to win. They're more fun and the food is going to taste better. At least you'll think it tastes better. But it's hard to beat an air fryer because they're so quick and easy. So the question is, should you get a cheapy 240 volt one and run it off an inverter, or get a dedicated 12 volt option? Let's get into it and find out. So what have I got on the table here? Well, this is the hardcore 12 volt 3 litre air fryer. It cost me around 120 bucks on special the other day, and supposedly it's rated to 280 watts. Now with a big resistive heating element in there and Ohm's law, it means that if I increase the voltage to this unit, it may actually put out more power. It depends if this is a purely resistive load or if it's got any electronics to control it. However, I believe it's limited to 180 degrees Celsius, so it may heat up slightly faster with a higher voltage, but it probably won't actually get any hotter. So cooking time should be about the same. Now over here, this is a Germanica 3.5 litre air fryer. I think it cost me around $50 from memory, and I have actually used this one while camping a bunch of times, and it's rated at 1400 watts. So of course, I'm gonna need to run that through an inverter. Here's what I'm gonna test. Number one, how long each of these takes to actually preheat or get up to temperature. Because in the manual for this one, it suggests 10 minutes of preheating, which would eat into the total energy usage. So I've got a laser heat gun and a meat thermometer, and I'll use those every minute or so to get a rough reading of how hot these are getting. Then on the bench, I've got two identical 120 amp hour lithium batteries. They're running through a Victron Smart Shunt, which means I can measure instantaneous power, as well as total energy used for the whole period of cooking. An important note, this only uses 1400 watts, so I could have used a 1500 watt inverter, and that's able to be powered by a 120 amp hour battery, so this will all work. As I said earlier, the 12 volt air fryer is rated at 280 watts, plus or minus 10%, and I don't exactly know what voltage that's at, because it does just say a nominal 12 volt rating. So if I run this off a battery at around 12.8 volts, we might see a little bit more power than that. And later on, I think I'll actually test it at 14.6 volts to see how much more power this uses and whether that makes a difference. For anyone who's seen my kettle test, if you up the voltage on a resistive element, you'll get a lot more power through the wiring. On that note, this is only using 12 AWG wiring. So once I load it up, we'll see how that handles it, as well as how the fuse and fuse holder go with that much current going through it. And of course, for the ultimate test, I'm gonna put the same amount of chicken nuggets in both air fryers, cook them for 20 minutes and see how they come out. At the same time, I'll obviously be measuring energy usage, so we get a really good idea of how much more power these use when they're actually cooking. So let's get into it and get these preheated. All right, so I've reset the bench, chucked a couple of glass cutting boards under here so the air fryers don't melt through the table. Everything's connected. I'm just topping up the batteries. This one's just finished. This one is at 14.4 volts, so they're both 100% chock-a-block. Now we can see how long they take to actually preheat. I'm actually going to set both of these to 180 degrees Celsius so it's fair. This one can do 200 degrees and it's adjustable. This one can only do 180, and you've only got the dial here that actually turns the unit on and stays on. Once it's on, and it won't turn off until that timer ends. With the 240 volt one, if you take the basket out, it actually turns off. It has a little safety switch here that needs to be pressed in for the unit to be on. So let's get into it. So after about 1 minute when I checked the temperature, this one was already at 180 degrees Celsius. This one was around 80 degrees. So leave this one for the moment. We'll get the full 10 minutes of data, and I'll keep checking this one every minute or two. So the 240 volt air fryer heated up basically within a minute, and you can actually see when it's preheated because the little icon turns off on the screen. Super handy. This one, by the end of the 10-minute period, was just over 160 degrees Celsius. Now that's measuring at the bottom of the basket. So it was probably hotter at the top nearer the element, but nonetheless a good result. Now I'm gonna let them cool down a bit, get them hopefully back to ambient temperature. In the meantime, I'll recharge both batteries. Next up, I was thinking of actually running both of these completely empty for 20 minutes to get a baseline. But looking at the data for this one, what it actually does is heats up to 180 degrees, then it turns off and just keeps the fan running. So it's only drawing about 15, 20 watts for a good minute or two, and then the heating element turned back on for about a minute, and then it turned off again. So that's not really a true representation of how much energy this would use over a longer period if you actually had cold items in there that this was trying to heat up. So I'll start this one for 10 minutes, then put the chicken nuggets in both, then continue the test for 20 minutes and see how they both come out. So overall, I've got 413 grams of chicken nuggets. So I'm gonna split them in half as best I can. This half has slightly more, so I'm actually gonna put that in the 240 volt air fryer because it'll be a little bit hotter, probably fair. I've charged both batteries back up. I've got my chicken nuggets ready. So I'm gonna preheat this for 10 minutes, then I'm gonna start the actual 20 minutes of cooking. At around 10 minutes, I'll give them a shake. Here we go. I'm waiting for this timer to ding any moment now, then we can actually start the test. Now looking at the data already for the warm-up, the 12 volt air fryer used around 50 watt hours, or roughly 4 amp hours, let's call it. This one used around 35 watt hours or about 3 amp hours. So already this one took more energy to actually heat up, and it did take 10 minutes rather than about a minute. So it's going to be interesting to see what the actual total usage is after 20 minutes now of further cooking and how they come out at the end of it, whether they're going to be cooked the same. How good was that? All right. So let's try and be quick about this. Let's go 20 minutes on this one. $20 on that one. Now these were frozen, so they've been out for about 10 minutes now. The instructions for this say that it'll obviously cook quicker if you defrost the food before you put it in. However, if you're camping, I wouldn't really feel comfortable doing that. You'd probably want your food frozen until you wanted to cook it. So at 10 minutes in, I gave them a quick shake and measured the temperature. This one, 120 degrees Celsius. This one here, around 100 degrees Celsius. Now that's just waving the laser heat gun around the base and the nuggets to see what we're at. So another 10 minutes. A few minutes to go now. Thought I'd quickly just check the temperature of the fuse here, because in my kettle test the other week, they were getting pretty hot. Now this one's pulling around 23 amps. Hottest temperature I'm reading here is about 62 degrees Celsius. Not ideal, but not hugely terrible. So once this finally ticks off, I'm going to use the meat thermometer here to actually look at the temperature inside one of the nuggets in each of the air fryers. I'm also going to have a look at them and I'll show you to see how they actually look, whether they look cooked. If they're not, I'll put them back in for 2 minutes each and we'll see how they go. All right. I don't know. I like my nuggets a bit crispier than that. 97, 98. Oh, there you go. That's looking more like my flavor. Hopefully that's in frame there, 98 degrees. That's a pretty good indication of the difference. So hopefully you can see that. That's the difference we're looking at here. These ones look ready to go, honestly. So I'm gonna put these ones in for a couple more minutes. As you saw, they don't look cooked, but I'm gonna give one of these ones a go. If they need another minute or two, I'll add that to the tally. Can't forget the sweet and sour sauce. You might have noticed these are gluten-free because I found out I was a celiac and I'll self-combust if I eat gluten. But I can still pretend. Let's give this a go, hey? Yep. I'll get a close-up of that. That is a good nugget. These are ready to go and I don't want to wait. So if you like your food cooked fast, maybe the 240-volt air fryer is for you. I'll save one so I can compare them again. Get an indicative one like that. Let's have a squiz. I still wouldn't call that as done as I would like. So that side looks all right. That side still a bit white. And the majority of them, honestly, still look pretty sad. Still a bit squishy as well. Let's go another 5 minutes. This is all part of the scientific process. Just dinged a second ago. I'll pick out what I reckon is the most cooked one. Maybe that one there. And we'll compare it to this one. They just don't feel like they're good to go. Giving it another 5. That is now 45 minutes, including the 10 minutes of preheating. So 10 minutes preheating, 35 minutes for the nuggets. I reckon that is a lot better. So remembering that that's the one that I pulled apart. This one here was 20 minutes in that air fryer. So let's open this one up and have a look. I'm sure they're cooked. I reckon they're good. Not quite as crispy or browned up as the 240-volt air fryer, but if I was camping and eating that, I'd be stoked. It's probably a good point, actually. If you're camping, particularly if it was dark and you'd had a couple of cans, you probably wouldn't even notice after the first 20 minutes. They'll probably cook, they're up to temperature. I just like my food a little crispier. So it might be a personal preference thing, but I'll now take a look at the results and see how much more or less energy each of these took. All up, the 12-volt air fryer took about 35 minutes to cook. If you also add the 10 minutes of preheating time, you come to 45 minutes total. And over that time period, it used around 225 watt hours of energy. Now, if you compare that to the 240-volt air fryer, which did it in around 20 minutes, it used around 250 watt hours of energy. So not really a huge difference. And the 240-volt was running through the inverter, which I factored in. If you take away the inverter losses, it used around 230 watt hours. So they're very, very close. The biggest difference is how fast they cook. So like always, it really depends on your setup and what you want. If you only want to run 12-volt or you want a smaller, more simple setup, then a 12-volt air fryer might be perfect for you. But if you're already considering an inverter or you've already got an inverter, then it makes a lot of sense to just go for a 240-volt air fryer. The key takeaway is not that one used more or less energy than the other. It was actually that they used pretty much the same energy to cook the same amount of food, which really makes sense when you think about it. And that's a bit of a recurring theme in a lot of my videos. But there is one more test that I want to do, and this stems back to my kettle video from a couple of weeks ago, where by increasing the voltage into the kettle, I was able to make it pull a lot more power and heat up a lot faster. And I want to see if this 12-volt air fryer will do the same thing, because it could mean that if you used a step-up voltage converter, this might be able to actually heat up a lot faster and hold heat better. It depends if this is a purely resistive load or if it's got any electronics to control it. So I'm going to connect it up to my 14.6-volt power supply and see what happens. All right, so it's pulling 406 watts. So about 33% more than it was previously. So I'm actually gonna let this run for a couple of minutes and just see how hot this gets. So interestingly, it has just actually turned off. So the heating element has stopped heating. So I assume it's reached 180 degrees. Yeah, I read 170. So my expectation is that it has reached max temperature now, so it's actually completely heated. We didn't see that in the previous test, so probably does deserve doing this once more with a higher voltage because it's clearly a resistive load. Just turn back on again. So two similar but different ways to cook the same thing, and we ended up with a very similar result. About the same energy used regardless. The big difference wasn't efficiency, it was speed, convenience, and basically how you'd have to set up the rest of your system if you wanted to use one of these or the other. If you're running an air fryer in your setup, drop a comment down below, particularly if you're running a 12 volt one, you've got any tips or tricks that can actually improve the speed or power of these. And as always, massive shout out to everyone who's watching. I really, really appreciate it. I frankly can't believe that I'm nearly at 20,000 subscribers in about 3 or 4 months, but it's thanks to all of you. So massive shout out to everyone who's watching, and a particularly big shout out to all my channel members. Thank you all so much for the support. If anyone else does want to join, it's open but completely optional. I'm going to keep making videos regardless. So thank you everyone. I'll see you next time.